they tend to harbor things. And when they harbor things, then that's not healthy. But when someone comes from a level of intelligence, a level of understanding and love, then inevitably you have a relationship that works. You can't have a relationship that's not based on fundamental principles of love. Where everything else has fallen, what still stands? Love. Now you got it. You understand that that's the most important part. I mean, that's everything. Without that, you don't have anything. And yes, it's understandable to be in a relationship, but most people want to be in a relationship where they can control. Well, that's not even most. That's really a major overgeneralization. But I mean, you look at even institutions. It's about control. It's about creating cookie-cutting good psychologists, and that they should all think the same. Forget about Carl Jung and Abraham Maslow. That's not psychology, so they've taken it out completely. Right? Does it? No, psychology is 200 years old. It's very young. Well, then look at yoga psychology, Hindu psychology. It's thousands of years old, far more complete, far more whole. It requires the understanding of the atom, the inner self, right? It's so important. But what do most psychologists today and religious people say? They say, well, there's only one way. Oh, well, excuse me, the doctor can't prescribe your spiritual sustenance. So if you want to talk to me about your problem, then I will give you a diagnosis. But if you're having some sort of troublesome spiritual understanding, then go see your rabbi or your priest or your parishioner or whatever. But that's not balance. While the Eastern religions, cross-culturally, you see, that's why it's important to take on the West and the East. What's missing so much in the West right now is honor. There's no honor. People don't honor one another. And they knock them down. They're jealous. A girl and a guy saying, "Oh, that dress that looks hideous on her." Just a way of knocking the person down. The guy just arrived from a construction site. Who cares what he's wearing? You see what I'm saying? The whole shallowness of the typical reactive behavior, surfacey, and not looking beyond the surface. Well, that guy has a hole in his shirt. So what? That doesn't mean he's a terrible person because he has a hole in his shirt. So, that behavior is very, very unhealthy. So, being in a loving relationship requires that both people allow each other to grow. When a woman wants to be with someone just because, oh, well, I want to be with a rich, dumb man, so this way he'll do what I tell him to do. So then he becomes a yes man. We were just discussing that earlier. Then he doesn't no longer have a mind of his own. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. And vice versa. Men taught this to women so many years ago, and now women are using it against men. And that's not healthy either, because that's not a relationship based on love. That's a relationship based on power and control. We see it in government. We see it with school teachers today. They're more concerned about their unions and about their salaries than they are about the well-being of the children in the class. Right? I mean, this is not every teacher, but they're focusing again to protect themselves rather than thinking about the well-being of the child. I mean, when I was a child, we used to hug our teacher. We used to bring an apple. I mean, you had nuns. I had teachers that my parents actually babysat my teacher's son. I mean, things like that. Or how did doctors meet their wives in the 1800s in these little towns? You think they met them by walking on the street? That whole town went to see that one doctor. How can we discuss about ethics without understanding that where's that man going to get married? He's probably going to meet one of his patients.